Hey, welcome back to the Emerald Knight. This is part 13, Dame. Continuing where we left off in part 12, I decided to go back a little bit and change a few things. Mostly how like I said I didn't say that last time. I was thinking about it last time, but I didn't mention it last time. I was thinking of revealing a certain trait about the knight, and that certain trait has something to do with their nudity. And I was debating on whether or not to do that last time, to just insert it like right here, around here, after Aranthis had finished cleaning herself. But I sectioned off quite a bit. I was also thinking, and I didn't mention this last time either, I was thinking of having Aranthis see her reflection. At least I don't think I mentioned that last time. But I was wanting her to see her reflection in the river. And let me say something about this real quick first. The word, that's a little too Christian, like a little too I was wanting to express like a religious kind of intonation, I suppose, with describing the environment, but that rings a little too close to like our world and Christianity and the word of the Bible or various other religious texts of other religions. But so I'll probably change that to avoid confusion. But anyway, I was thinking of I was wanting her to see her reflection, and using that opportunity to get a visual of her face, especially, since now she's beat up. This this is this curse word I came up with. It wasn't I was just walking around outside trying to figure out something that sounded pretty believable. That would be an elvish curse. I kind of like it. And here's where I insert the moment where we find the trait about the knight. This certain trait, I was debating on whether or not to reveal it now, because maybe there might have been a more clean opportunity down the road, but being this is what it is, working title, that this is what it is, a periodic, episodic kind of thing, I figured the sooner the better, because this trait, you'll find out in a second, it would alleviate confusion. I didn't want it to be in part 26 or 35 before we found this stuff out. So I thought the sooner the better. Let's reveal this now so that those who may be watching and reading, especially, and maybe not listening to the commentaries, can find out this information so that they won't feel so confused. And this is just another one of those, like before, when they were sitting on the log, like all the images processing all at once. But yes, the part about Aranthis seeing her reflection. That was something that had slipped my mind before, but I make sure to put it in fairly soon in the next scene. But here we finally receive the information that, oh, the knight isn't a man, it's a woman. And this, how it's processing through Aranthus is kind of funny. But coming up right here, the knight was a dame. I use the word dame similarly throughout this part, and I believe I used that incorrectly. Dame, in the sense that it is part of a title, is not a standalone noun. It can be, but it's like, if it's used as a standalone noun, it's the slang or what have you for woman. So, dame is a part of a title, part of a person's name who has been knighted, such as Sir Lancelot. Sir is part of his name, part of his title. And when we hear Sir Lancelot, we automatically know that he has been knighted, therefore he is a knight. So, dame works similarly. Someone has dame a part of their name, then we know automatically that they're a knight. But as a standalone noun, I believe that's incorrect with the way I'm wanting to use it. And then I retry describing the sword, try to make it a little less confusing. Throughout this part, I wanted to try and slow down. I wanted to try, because the week I was writing this, especially, I was a little too concerned with trying to get it done and into a video. So I wanted to try and slow down, and it was kind of getting to me. So I wanted to slow down and try to bring out the more meaningful expressions of moments a character has, a more unique and charming voice or tone. That's where the passage about the forest singing the word or chanting the word or whatever exactly it said came from. That's where the moment Aranthus has where all the images processed at once came from. So I tried to slow down a little bit here. I realized that I named the title of this episodic part of the Emerald Knight Dame. I don't believe Dame is to be used as a replacement for knight, but I'm gonna use it for a title. I don't know if that's completely correct either, but like as a title for an episode, I mean, it can be like the title of a poem, So I'm going to take creative liberty and apply it to the title of this part. But again, not 100% sure, but here's another thing that came out of me slowing down, another more meaningful moment. These moments could probably use more time with them, meaning a little more prose with them to really bring out meaning and feeling, but for a rough draft, at least I'm getting the point across of what I would like to express. For this part, I spent more time writing than previous parts. I wanted to try out 3-hour sessions of writing as opposed to 2-hour sessions. If I were to ever get in some sort of rhythm and schedule with these writings and uploads, the 3-hour sessions would equate to more time per week spent writing. So say I did like 4 2-hour sessions per week. If I shortened that to 3 sessions per week, but they were 3 hours long, that would equate to an extra hour of writing the story per week. And though I'm not I'm not in a schedule right now, but I would like to try that out and see how it feels. I like the appearance of the knight's face, or like the expression of feeling tired. Again, there may need to be more time devoted to the prose here to really bring out that exhaustion and perhaps empty stomach feeling. But I like just watching the characters just slow down and do their own thing. I think that helps a lot in bringing out character anyway. Just being able to watch the character or characters just slow down and do things. Like this, especially this moment right here, where the knight goes about their own business and sort of just ignores Iranthus's presence and brings out that flask of blood and proceeds as planned, whatever their plan may be. But this quote that's coming up, I pre-wrote this quote in English, and then I swapped it over for this other language that they are speaking as I speak in this moment. Before I say any more about it, I will say that the last non, in the last sentence of the quote, non is supposed to be ga. That was a typo of mine, but I spent a long time trying to figure out what they would say and then how to turn that into a different language. I mean, by all means, it's not like I'm a language expert, but my template for this language was Japanese, how their sentence structure works. I mean, really, that's the only other language that I have more than just a superficial understanding. Not that I have superficial understanding of very many languages at all, but you get what I mean. I have some sort of understanding of Japanese. I feel there's a little bit of nuances here and there in the language that I've plastered to the knight, but Japanese is the template. Here, is where we first see the knight lay down to go to sleep. Logically, Iranthus has probably already seen this since since she has been traveling with the knight for several days now. And I could have put it in sooner because chronologically we would have already seen it, but I felt that this moment here was a lot more clean and easy of a way, easy as in eased in, of a way to introduce it, because we are already in part of a scene of import and not just following the characters' every little move, every step they took through the forest. So we're in a scene that was important enough that needed to be written. So we introduce this aspect because it seemed like a more clean way of doing it, since we're already in the scene, and it would make sense. It's dark. Okay, she's gonna lay down and do her thing. I feel that the knight probably needed maybe a few more particular things, like a few more particularities expressed or done, things that they do before they do their nightly ritual before laying down to sleep. I mean, I got her wrapping her sword around her, but maybe they would do something else. Something to consider. Also, just before that, or around it, we have Iranthus feeling somewhat humbled because of what the knight just did. Iranthus saw her exhaustion, and then bared witness to their business with the blood. And then Iranthus starts feeling somewhat humbled, and then has feelings about the knight, about Night, the deity. And I really like that. I don't know if juxtaposition is the proper word for this, but like the side-by-side effect of their religious goings-on. The knight's religious thing with the blood, and then Iranthus feeling somewhat religious. But here's where I insert the moment where Iranthus gets to see her face. I felt that this was a good opportunity to implement this. So even though the story is written in the third person, and we're following Iranthus and vicariously seeing and feeling through Iranthus, I thought this was a good opportunity and a smart opportunity to see what she looks like, because she's looking at herself in the river and noticing all of these things that aren't quite normal with her face, at least not as she remembers, and perhaps judging herself based on what she looks now. But even if the bruises and the broken nose weren't there, maybe she would still be a little judgmental of her looks. There's sort of a taste of that in there as she judges her cheekbones, her eyebrows, whatever. So of her being judgmental of herself, I thought that was a good opportunity to implement the look of one of the other main characters. In the paragraph just above this one, repeating the detail about Iranthus's mouth hanging open like dogs, was unintentional and may need to be revised. But with that being said, that'll wrap up part 13. Thank you.